It was the moment Filipino fans had been waiting for. Eala, in her first ever Grand Slam mixed doubles appearance, partnering with a world number 4. But what started with hope ended in heartbreak as the husband and wife tandem of Gael Monfils and Elina Svitolina proved too strong, too experienced, too connected. And the emotional scenes in the stands told a story that went far beyond the scoreline. The roar of the crowd at Louis Armstrong Stadium was deafening. Thousands of Filipino fans had packed the stands, waving Philippine flags, chanting Eala. Eala, with an intensity that turned the Grand Slam stage into a celebration of national pride. This was the moment they had been waiting for. Eala, in her first ever Grand Slam mixed doubles appearance, partnering with world number 4 Felix Auger-Aliassime. What followed lasted just 38 minutes. The match began with promise. Eala and Auger-Aliassime won the opening game, and the crowd erupted. For a fleeting moment, it looked like the partnership that had generated so much buzz might live up to the hype. The Filipina-Canadian tandem had 3 aces and 9 winners, flashes of brilliance that hinted at what could have been. But then the husband and wife tandem of Gael Monfils and Elina Svitolina took over. Married since 2021 but playing together in a major for the first time, the power couple flashed the kind of chemistry that comes from years of partnership, both on and off the court. They won 4 straight games to close out the first set in just 16 minutes. The second set followed the same script. Svitolina and Monfils dropped only one of the next 9 games, sealing the victory with a kiss that made the 38-minute win even more memorable. The final score, 4-1, 4-1. The quick exit was a learning experience for both players. Auger-Aliassime, a 2-time U.S. Open semifinalist, and Eala, a WTA champion in her own right, had the talent but lacked the chemistry. The revamped mixed doubles format, with sets played to only 4 games, left little room to settle in. Every break, every missed opportunity, proved costly. Eala and Auger-Aliassime committed 8 unforced errors while Svitolina and Monfils made just 1. But the statistics told only part of the story. The match marked the first time Svitolina scored a victory over Eala after the Filipina triumphed in their 2 previous WTA Tour singles encounters in Berlin and Washington earlier this year. It was a bittersweet moment for the Ukrainian veteran who had been on the losing end of back-to-back straight-set defeats to the rising Filipina star. Now that their mixed doubles campaign is over, Eala and Auger-Aliassime can focus on their respective singles campaigns as they both look to surpass their 2025 showings. Eala eyes a deep run a year after she made history as the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam main draw match in the Open era, when she stunned Denmark's Clara Tauson in the opening round, while Auger-Aliassime seeks to improve on his run to the semifinals. The dream that lasted 38 minutes was over, but for Eala, the U.S. Open had only just begun. As the final point of the 38-minute match was played, the husband and wife tandem of Elina Svitolina and Gael Monfils didn't just celebrate with a fist pump or a roar. They sealed their victory with something far more personal: a kiss. The moment captured everything that had gone wrong for Eala and Felix Auger-Aliassime. Married since 2021 but playing together in a major for the first time, the power couple flashed the kind of chemistry that comes from years of partnership, both on and off the court. They dropped only one of the next 9 games after the opening exchange, committing just a single unforced error against Eala and Auger-Aliassime's 8. "Very happy to play with Gael finally," Svitolina said after the match, her joy evident. "Nice to share the court. We were trying to be really focused but having a lot of fun." Monfils, playing in his final U.S. Open before retirement, was equally delighted. "Thank you for being here. It's a fun format. First time playing with my wife. Massive pressure on my back, but we played and we won. Now let's see for the next one." The statistics told the story of a mismatch. Monfils and Svitolina won all 7 of their first serve points, and were 5 of 9 on their second serve. The Filipina-Canadian tandem had 3 aces and 9 winners, but also hit into 8 unforced errors. In a format where sets are played to only 4 games, every break and every missed opportunity proved costly. The match marked the first time Svitolina scored a victory over Eala after the Filipina triumphed in their two previous WTA Tour singles encounters in Berlin and Washington earlier this year. But the victory felt different. It was a family affair. "I think 10 a.m. is one of the earliest we've ever played since under 12, Svitolina joked. But her husband's response carried more weight. Monfils, who will draw the curtain on his 22-year professional career at the end of the season, was savoring every moment. For Eala, the quick exit from mixed doubles was a setback, but not a defeat. The loss shifted her focus entirely to singles, where she is projected as the number 17 seed, her highest seeding in a Grand Slam after surpassing her number 29 seeding at Wimbledon. The kiss that sealed the victory for Svitolina and Monfils was a reminder that some partnerships are built on years of connection. But for Eiala, the singles campaign was just beginning. When Felix Auger-Aliassime agreed to partner with Eala in the US Open mixed doubles, the Canadian world number 4 knew he was signing up for something unique. What he didn't fully anticipate was just how different the experience would be. Standing on the same court as the Filipina phenomenon, who has turned stadiums across North America into celebrations of Filipino pride. It's a great opportunity to kind of feel what it's like to have that Eala effect and her fan base behind me, Auger-Aliassime told Tennis Channel. The 26-year-old ace, a two-time US Open semifinalist, was already bracing for the reality of playing alongside a player whose popularity has outpaced even some of the biggest names in the sport. "It's kind of funny because she's younger than me, but I feel like she has the fan base and she's carrying the crowd," he said with a laugh. "So it's going to be interesting." The partnership came together through their shared agency. "We have the same agency, and then people in our teams kinda talked and made the partnership happen," Auger-Aliassime explained. Both players were given a wildcard berth into the mixed doubles competition. The Eala effect had become one of the most talked about phenomena in tennis. From Washington to Toronto to Cincinnati, Eala had packed venues in every city she visited, drawing an entirely different demographic to the tennis world. In Toronto, she filled Sobeys Stadium to the rafters every match, with superfans even dressing as Raptors, as a nod to the city's NBA team. "There are moments where it's heavy. There are moments where it's fun," Eala said when asked of how she deals with her fame and her packed tour schedule. "But at the end of the day, I am also aware that it's a crazy experience, you know? So I'm just trying to take it all in." The Eala effect had officially arrived in New York. Auger-Aliassime was about to experience it firsthand, and the tennis world was watching. The moment captured everything about the Eala phenomenon. A top 5 male player was admitting that the 21-year-old Filipina was the one bringing the energy to Flushing Meadows. "It keeps you in the competitive mindset," Auger-Aliassime added, noting that competing in the mixed doubles event was also a chance for both players to stay locked in on their respective singles campaigns. "It's a great thing, and I think I'm gonna live it out there." When Eala and Auger-Aliassime walked onto Louis Armstrong Stadium, the roar that greeted them confirmed everything the Canadian had expected. The Eala effect had arrived in New York, and it was carrying the crowd. The roar had been deafening, the flags had been waving, the chants of Eala had echoed through Louis Armstrong Stadium with an intensity that turned a Grand Slam stage into a celebration of Filipino pride. And then, as the match slipped away, the silence began to fall. Thousands of Filipino fans had packed the stands at the US Open, hoping to witness history. Eala's first ever Grand Slam mixed doubles appearance, partnering with world No. 4 Felix Auger-Aliassime. They had traveled from across the United States, some from as far as California, others from the Philippines itself, all united by a single purpose: to support their hero. The match began with promise. Eala and Auger-Aliassime won the opening game, and the crowd erupted. For a fleeting moment, it looked like the partnership that had generated so much buzz might live up to the hype. But then, the husband and wife tandem of Gael and Elina Svitolina took over. The power couple, married since 2021 but playing together in a major for the first time, flashed the kind of chemistry that comes from years of partnership, both on and off the court. They dropped only one of the next 9 games, advancing to the quarterfinals in just 38 minutes. The final score, 4-1, 4-1. The statistics told the story of a mismatch. The Filipina-Canadian tandem had 3 aces and 9 winners, but also hit into 8 unforced errors. Monfils and Svitolina, by contrast, won all 7 of their first serve points and were 5 of 9 on their second serve. But the numbers didn't capture the human cost. The quiet tears of a fan who had been waving a Philippine flag since dawn. The disappointed faces of families who had traveled thousands of miles. The heavy silence that fell over a stadium that had been roaring just minutes earlier. "It's just heartbreaking," one fan told a local reporter after the match. "We came here to support her. She's our pride. To see her lose like this, it hurts." In the stands, the disappointment was palpable. But even as the match slipped away, the fans never stopped cheering. They chanted her name until the final point. They waved their flags until the last moment. And when Eala walked off the court, they gave her a standing ovation. A recognition not of victory, but of the journey that had brought her here. Eala herself had spoken about the weight of that support just weeks earlier. "I am eternally grateful," she had said in Toronto. "Maraming salamat mga kababayan. Mahal ko kayong lahat. It is really the pleasure of my life to experience these things." The heartbreak in the stands was real, but so was the pride. The loss was a chapter, not the end of the story. And for the Filipino fans who had packed Louis Armstrong Stadium, the chapter was just beginning. The kiss that sealed the victory for Svitolina and Monfils was a reminder that some partnerships are built on years of connection. But for Eala, the quick exit from mixed doubles was not a defeat. It was a pivot. The loss shifted her focus entirely to singles, where the stakes are far higher and the opportunity far greater. The numbers tell the story of a new chapter. Eala enters the U.S. Open singles main draw as a projected number 17 seed, her highest seeding in a Grand Slam, after surpassing her no. 29 seeding at Wimbledon. The withdrawal of world number 15 Victoria Mboko has pushed her even higher. As a top 17 seed, she will likely face unseeded players in the first 2 rounds, giving her a clearer runway toward another historic campaign. The mixed doubles loss was a learning experience. In a format where sets are played to only 4 games, every break, every missed opportunity proved costly. Eala and Auger-Aliassime had 3 aces and 9 winners, but also hit into 8 unforced errors, while Svitolina and Monfils won all 7 of their first serve points. The partnership, which had generated so much buzz, simply lacked the chemistry that comes from years of playing together. But the loss also marked a milestone. It was the first time Svitolina scored a victory over Eala after the Filipina triumphed in their 2 previous WTA Tour singles encounters in Berlin and Washington earlier this year. The Ukrainian veteran, who had been on the losing end of back-to-back straight-set defeats to the rising Filipina star, finally had her moment. Now, Eala's focus shifts entirely to singles. She is scheduled to compete in the Stars of the Open exhibition on August 27 at Arthur Ashe Stadium, where she will face her close friend and world number 16 Iva Jovic. Then comes the main draw on August 30. Former U.S. Open finalist Greg Rusedski has backed Eala to make a deep run. "I wouldn't be surprised if she's in the quarters or semis. She's that good," Rusedski said. "I think the mentality is second to none." Grand Slam winning coach Rick Machi, meanwhile, believes Eala's left-handed game and unorthodox serve could make her particularly dangerous on the New York hard courts. "I'm coming for you," Eala had posted on social media ahead of the tournament. The message was for New York, for the tennis world, and for herself. What happens when a young woman from Manila, fresh off a quick exit in mixed doubles, steps on Arthur Ashe Stadium as the highest-seeded Filipino player in U.S. Open history? What happens when the heartbreak in the stands becomes fuel for something greater? And when Eala walks onto the court for her singles campaign, will the world finally understand that the mixed doubles loss was just a chapter, not the end of the story? The answers are about to unfold, and New York is ready. Eala and Felix Auger-Aliassime's mixed doubles campaign ended in a 38-minute, 4-1, 4-1 loss to the husband and wife tandem of Elina Svitolina and Gael Monfils. The Filipina-Canadian tandem had 3 aces and 9 winners, but also hit into 8 unforced errors, while Svitolina and Monfils won all 7 of their first serve points. The loss marked the first time Svitolina scored a victory over Eala after the Filipina triumphed in their 2 previous singles encounters. Now, Eala shifts focus to her singles campaign as the projected number 17 seed, her highest seeding in a Grand Slam. She will compete in the Stars of the Open exhibition on August 27 before the main draw begins on August 30. One chapter closes, another begins. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We bring you the biggest stories in tennis, drama, and emotion every single week. Don't miss what happens next.